This next one for me is maybe one of the more fascinating ones of the day. Illinois versus Indiana. This opened at -5 roughly in favor of Indiana. It's kind of ticked up towards 6 now, where we are at in the market. Early going, Steve, like Indiana is again showing really strong offensive efficiency numbers. I thought they were going to take at least somewhat of a step back, kind of come down to earth a little bit. Now they haven't exactly played world beaters, and that was kind of their issue last year too, when they they showed out versus the bad teams and then struggled against good defensive teams. But nonetheless, like 3 weeks in, I've been impressed. Um, similar though to the Oklahoma and Auburn situation though. So Illinois has one of the nation's highest blitzing and man coverage rates in the nation. And according to our data, using our numbers, they're number 13 in points per echo allowed at 2.5. So if they can generate or limit Indiana's scoring opportunities, keep breaking news, if they hold them to field goals instead of touchdowns, like they might be able to win the game.
Yeah.
But that's one thing I'm looking for here. Indiana finally having a real test against a quote unquote legit defense at this point.
Yeah, yeah, and I think that's going to have to be the scheme that you do here if you're Illinois. Looking at the quarterback play, we talked about Indiana's Cinderella run last year, and I'll be honest, I was kind of a doubter about this offense going in being led by Fernando Mendoza, and what can they really do? With work leaving out this year, but he's been pretty damn good. Both by the eye test and by the grades here. But one thing that comes out, like you mentioned it here, zone versus man, right, and zone versus man and blitz coverage, right? And so when you look at Mendoza splits, he's great against zone. He has time to pick apart, but against man, especially against blitz pressure, his statistics drop dramatically. And that's what Illinois is absolutely known for. And so I'm going to see how that matchup kind of schemes up, because on the flip end, Indiana is not a pressure heavy or blitz heavy team. And I'm curious to see what that's going to look like, because while for me, Luke Altmaier hasn't looked otherworldly, he has been in a pretty effective runner and a pretty effective dual threat in the RPO. And so if you want to keep Indiana on their toes, you want to keep them balanced, you're going to have to use both here. And so to me, this just seems like it's going to be kind of an ugly classic Big Ten game. I mean, this is one of the teams where Illinois has one of the most efficient, one of the best run games, especially in the inside zone. So can they use that to their bread and butter? Can they use that to wear down this Indiana defense and really keep them in check here? So, my fan of me really wants to see, like a 49 to 45 shootout, but I think it's going to be a relatively low scoring affair here.
I was just trying to double check. Yes, the market is over underwise. The market's at 52.5 right now. So respectable. It's actually ticked up. So this open looks like at about circa open at 49.5, but they're doing some weird stuff at open this year. But Pinnacle and Bookmaker opened at 51.5, but really has ticked up probably a couple points since open, either way you slice it. So yeah, I mean, at least early on, market has a slightly different opinion than you on that one, Steve. But yeah, I guess Seth, like, where's your heart and where's the data take you on this one?
Yeah, I mean the data is interesting. I think Indiana still takes the cake, and it's not surprising that they're favored. Our numbers are quite similar. If we ignore the model, we like Indiana a little bit more than the market at -9, but obviously we take the market into our consideration there. You called it out. I think points per echo is quite interesting defensively, where Indiana right now is giving up 5.2, which is 119th in our database, I think, something like that. Whereas, Illinois only giving up 2.5 points per drive. So the question for me is, what's going to go on there? Because that doesn't feel really great, especially when you called out who Indiana has played. And so concerns there. And Illinois obviously has had the harder schedule up until now. So I won't be surprised if Illinois can pull this out, but we've seen this kind of over and over for the last year. Indiana is able to handle business where they have talent numbers that are very equivalent to them, and Illinois very much fits that mold. And it's when they play the blue chip teams that Indiana really can't seem to compete.
Yeah.
And so
the
I
more
think that's
talented teams, if you will.
Yeah, the more talented the team, that's when really Indiana seems to struggle. But if they have parity there, they do seem to be able to dominate those teams. So I think that's what the model's picking up here. It's not enough value for us. But yeah, I mean, I think this could be a really good game. I'm really excited for this. And I don't know. I mean, the defenses, have they really the data we have so far, are they really encompassing against good talent? And I wouldn't be surprised that the offenses do click, but the defenses can't keep up, and we do see some version of a shootout. I wouldn't necessarily be so surprised because I think both of these teams are engineered to score points.
Yeah. Yeah. Makes sense. Yeah. It should be, shout out producer Eric. It should be a fun environment too, because this is the first time ever, it sounds like, that Indiana is hosting a top 10 team. So they're going to be showing out for that one. So it should be a fun environment. So yeah, big implications, Big Ten. I'm fascinated to see how Indiana shows out in this one. So